I think you might be pretty shocked at how much time you spend buying food, preparing meals, and doing all the cleanup afterwards.
Oh, shit.
For me, it worked out to be about 7.5 hours each week. That's almost a working day. And as my life started to get busier, I really started to load the time that I had to spend just to be able to eat affordable, healthy meals. One of my key focuses over the last year has been to optimise these different time-leeching tasks so that I can focus on working, doing hobbies, or resting and relaxing. In this video, I'm going to be going over a highly simple but healthy meal prep using, in my opinion, an extremely underrated and inexpensive piece of equipment, a stainless steel steaming tower. Using this, I can prepare a good 5 portions of food with very little prep time or cleanup required afterwards. Perfect for people who are really busy. Even taking into consideration the time spent to buy the food, cook it and prepare it, it takes me about 35 minutes in total per week. It costs me about £1 to £2 per meal depending on the ingredients that I use, but it is highly customizable and it has these macros for the example that I'll use in this video. Before I show you what I do, just note that I'm not an expert here, so if you do want to follow this, definitely do your own research and make sure that you cook and store the food safely. Abraham Lincoln famously said, "Give me 6 hours to chop down a tree and I'll spend the first 4 hours sharpening the axe." Well, I'm too impatient for that, so I'm just going to do a very quick sharpen on my knife before doing any chopping. I'm going to try and do this at a normal pace, but I'm going to set a timer anyway so we can see how long it takes. So we'll start by boiling the kettle with filtered water and adding about 100 grams of dried quinoa or quinoa, however you pronounce it, along with some sea salt. Then we're going to wash and chop up the veg in the first layer of the steamer tower, which is carrots and sweet potatoes today. I leave the skin on to save time and add some extra fibre, but you can also peel it off. We're then going to prepare the veg for the top layer of the steamer now. So starting with baby sweet corn, just washing it off and then putting it straight in the steamer. Then Brussels sprouts, again washing them, putting them straight in. We'll do a head of broccoli. Don't throw away the stem here because you can use that later to make soups. And we're also going to add some tender stem broccoli in as well. And that's pretty much it for the preparation. So we're just going to add some water into the bottom, set the heat to a medium, and then leave it for about 20 minutes. I use the first few minutes here just to quickly tidy up any mess. And get the spices ready for the next step. And then I'm off to do some work in the next room. But do keep an eye on the steamer to make sure that it doesn't boil over or doesn't run dry either. Once the veg is done to your liking, for me I like it a little bit al dente still, then move the steamer over to a sink to dry and place the bottom layer back onto the hob. Here I add in about 120 grams of dried red lentils along with all of the spices. You can find the list of all the spices in the description. Then add in a bit of soy sauce and then finally just a little bit of apple cider vinegar as well. The lentils should then absorb the water and the spices, making a lovely dal-like mix. So I'm just going to stir all those spices in and then leave it to boil off and absorb some of that water on a low heat. And while it's doing that, I'm going to roughly portion up the veg into 5 different containers. I used to use plastic takeaway containers, but I was kindly bought these glass food containers for Christmas this year, so I'll hopefully avoid any plastics getting into the food this time. Just occasionally go back and make sure the quinoa and lentils aren't overboiling or sticking to the bottom of the pan. But once I've portioned all that out and it's boiled down to a consistency of my liking, I'll then get it straight off the hob and portion that out into each container as well. And while the food is cooling off a little bit before I put it in the fridge, I take the time to reset the kitchen back to how it was. putting everything that's dirty into the washing up machine and having a quick sweep and wipe down of the sides and the floor. I find that this just makes sure that the kitchen always remains in a presentable state and keep the space inviting for me to come and make some really nice homemade meals in the weekday as well. By making meals like this and implementing these time-saving techniques, I only really spend about 2.5 hours each week on my meals now, leaving me with a spare 5 hours that I didn't have last year. At my hourly rate, this means that I'm able to earn another £10,000 a year if I wish to do so. Once the meals have sufficiently cooled, I'll pop them in the fridge for storage, and if I do need any more protein in the meals, I'll just add some various leftover meats from other meals that I've made throughout the week. But it's always really useful that I've got a basic nutritional meal full of fibre in the fridge ready to go at any time. Anyway, if you've got any suggestions or alterations that people could try on this meal, I'd love to hear from you in the comments below. And if you found the video helpful or inspirational, then please leave a like. And if you're interested in things like life optimization, then subscribe to the channel to see more videos from me. So again, thank you for watching, and I'll see you soon.